In today's edition of the Vishwakul updates, today's topic, HUL's new supply chain strategy. In our next story, let's talk about a big change happening in India's FMCG space. Hindustan Unilever Limited, HUL, India's largest FMCG company, is rolling out a new way of delivering its products directly to retail shops. It's called the direct-to-kirana model, and it might soon replace the traditional system that companies like HUL have been using for decades. Why does this matter to people like us? To understand, let's first take a quick look at how an FMCG supply chain usually works. Once a company like HUL, known for everyday products like soaps, shampoos, and detergents, makes its products, they need to reach small kirana and retail stores. For context, there are around 12 million kirana stores across India, and HUL serves about 9 million of them. Traditionally, HUL hasn't dealt with these stores directly. Instead, they've relied on a network of distributors. These distributors play a key role. They buy products from HUL, store them, and deliver them to retail shops. They're also responsible for collecting payments and passing on promotional offers to shopkeepers. This system has worked reasonably well for years, even though it's complex and expensive. But times are changing. India's retail landscape is evolving fast, and the way people shop has transformed. Over the past decade or so, online shopping has boomed. Today, e-commerce makes up about 17% of India's FMCG sales. Within that, a rapidly growing segment, 30 to 35%, comes from quick commerce, which wasn't even around 3 to 4 years ago. Platforms like Swiggy, Instamart, and Blinkit now deliver groceries and essentials to your doorstep in minutes, making traditional shopping feel slow and outdated. Even though online shopping accounts for just about 17% of FMCG sales, it's already disrupting traditional supply chains in a big way. For companies like HUL, these digital platforms are taking over many tasks that distributors used to handle. Today, online platforms can store products, deliver them to customers, and even manage discounts and promotions. With centralized warehouses and delivery networks, they're much easier to work with compared to millions of scattered kirana stores. At the same time, kirana stores themselves are becoming more tech-savvy. Many now use digital tools like point-of-sale systems and ordering apps to run their businesses more efficiently. This means they can bypass distributors and deal directly with manufacturers like HUL. To keep up with these changes, HUL is starting to take more control of its supply chain than ever before. Instead of relying on distributors to handle logistics, HUL is gradually taking over the entire process, stocking, picking orders, transporting goods, and ensuring that products reach retail stores directly. To make this happen, they're expanding their centralized warehouses and building delivery networks designed for this new approach. Of course, HUL isn't diving into this blindly. They've been developing digital tools like an app called Shikhar to make the transition smoother. For context, this app is already used by over 1.3 million retailers. It allows shopkeepers to place orders directly with HUL and provides HUL with valuable insights into demand patterns, inventory levels, and even store-specific preferences. This kind of data would have been much harder to gather in a system that relied heavily on distributors. Source: Tijori Finance. There's also a financial reason behind this shift. Distributors typically earn a margin of 3 to 10% on the products they handle. For a company like HUL, with an annual turnover of about 60,000 crore rupees, this adds up to a significant amount. By cutting out or reducing the role of distributors, HUL can save costs and redirect those savings elsewhere, whether to lower prices for customers or to improve profit margins. That said, there's a small financial challenge HUL will need to address. Here's how it works. Distributors usually get a credit-free period of around 15 to 16 days from companies like HUL. This means they receive products and only pay for them 15 to 16 days later. Distributors then pass on a credit-free period of 30 to 45 days to retailers. The difference, about 15 to 30 days, is essentially a service distributors offer to retailers. Now, if HUL removes distributors from the equation, they'll have to take on this credit responsibility themselves. This could increase their costs, at least in the short term. Let's talk about costs for a moment. The FMCG sector has been under pressure recently due to rising food inflation in India. Prices of essential raw materials like wheat, sugar, and milk have gone up, squeezing profit margins. By streamlining its supply chain, HUL hopes to offset some of these costs and avoid passing them on to consumers. But not everyone is on board with this change. Distributors, understandably, aren't happy about being sidelined. The All India Consumer Products Distributors Federation, AICPDF, has raised concerns, calling the direct-to-kirana model misleading and out of touch with ground realities. They've even warned of nationwide protests if distributors are negatively impacted by this shift. So, what does all this mean for people like us? On one hand, HUL's move shows how a company can adapt to a rapidly changing market by using technology to stay ahead. On the other hand, it highlights the tensions that arise when innovation disrupts traditional systems. For now, all eyes are on how this transition plays out and whether it truly delivers the benefits HUL is aiming for. Further topics. One New Year's Eve 2024 saw a massive surge in orders on quick commerce and food delivery apps. Blinkit surpassed last year's entire night order volume by 5 p.m., with its biggest single order coming in at 64,988 rupees from Kolkata. Zepto reported a 200% growth in orders compared to last year, including 3,345 orders for ice cubes per hour. Swiggy Instamart doubled its night 2023 sales, with a record order of 70,325 rupees from Goa. Magicpan processed up to 1,500 orders per minute, with its largest order touching 30,000 rupees. Cities like Bengaluru, Chennai, and Mumbai led the way, showing how much people now rely on instant delivery for celebrations. 2TANGEDCO recently cancelled a 2,100 crore rupees tender to install 8.2 million smart meters, rejecting Adani Energy Solutions Limited's winning bid over high costs. This decision comes amidst allegations of irregularities linked to the Adani Group. Retendering the project may delay much-needed upgrades meant to reduce power losses and improve billing efficiency, signaling stricter scrutiny of public sector contracts. 3. In November 2024, India's petroleum exports dropped to $3.72 billion, nearly half of the $7.39 billion recorded the previous year. Between April and November, exports fell by almost 19% due to weak global demand, issues caused by the Red Sea crisis, a sharp drop in Russian crude imports, and rising domestic consumption. The Suez Canal blockade forced shipments to take longer routes, increasing costs. On top of that, competition from new refineries like Nigeria's Dangote further reduced India's share in key markets, underlining the challenges of shifting energy trade dynamics.